It's my privilege today to introduce my Lighthouse, Miss Barbie Smith. I don't know if you noticed or not when you were seeing the pictures go through, Barbie and I have a different picture than everyone else. She's actually sitting in my lap. That's by design. She didn't just plop on my lap. We decided we wanted to do that, see, because we go back a long time. I was Barbie's principal at Kimball Elementary from the time she was in kindergarten until she left there in 6th grade. When Barbie was 5 years old, her father passed away, and she had a difficult time the remainder of that school year, from time to time, not thinking about her dad. And her kindergarten teacher, who is here today, Cindy Johnson, she would bring her down to me and say she just needs some love. So she would sit in my lap at 5 years old, and I'd rock her, and sometimes we'd cry together, and sometimes we'd laugh about things, and then off she'd go again. Well, little did I know, 5 years later, I would be in the same position as Barbie. And I lost my husband, and the first day I came back to school, she was waiting for me. And she said, "You were there for me, so I'm going to be here for you." And I would look at her and think, she's done this. She's a child. I know that I can do this. So she truly has changed my life. So, Barbie Smith.
Hi, I'm Barbie Smith, and I'm a senior here at Poteet. Life's two biggest questions are why and why not. See, life has a funny way of making you ask why in certain situations, and then later on responding back with, well, why not? So to start this off, my first big why question happened when I was 5. Now, I know you were probably thinking it was simple questions like, "Hey Mom, why is the sky blue and why is the grass green?" I wish those were the type of questions I was asking as a child, but God dealt me a pretty tough hand of cards. Instead, I was asking questions like, "Hey Mom, why is Daddy sick?" And the big one, why did my daddy have to die? What I would call the biggest tragedy happened in my life at an early age. My dad died when I was only a little girl due to a severe case of lung cancer. I know with every fiber of my being that my dad fought a tough battle to the best of his abilities, and he is the reason why I am so ambitious today. There is not a day that goes by that my dad does not cross my mind. He is with me daily, from the moment I open my eyes to start my day, and even until the moment I shut them to rest. My dad's death was the start of my journey. He had to die in order to make me who I am. And thankfully, God blessed me with some loving people to help catch me whenever I fell. My dad's death did leave me damaged in some ways. I remember constantly asking, why did this happen? Why did I have to lose my dad? Why my family? Why me? Who was going to check for the monsters underneath my bed, and who was going to fight my battles for me? Who was going to fill the roles of a dad? My head was filled with questions that seemed to have no answer. I knew at that age I was going to have to check for the monsters, and I was going to have to fight my own battles. But most importantly, I knew I had to be strong. Did I know how to be strong at the time? Well, no. But thankfully, I had an awesome kindergarten teacher and an amazing principal to help pull me through. Mrs. Cummings and Mrs. Johnson taught me how to be tough, and I give them credit for saving my life. They helped me find my light during that dark era of life and made it possible for that light to shine. Even though something tragic happened to me at an early age, there was hope, and there had to be something good that could come from this situation. Though the picture was not in perspective when I was 5, God eventually made it possible for me to see clearly. He gave me a different point of view. Instead of following underneath the role as the victim, God gave me the strength to rise above and not fall into the pity of the situation. God helped me realize that I had a story to tell, so I took that idea and ran with it. I had this passion simply to just make a difference, whether that's in the life of someone else later on, or if there's a change that needs to be made in Africa. I am fully equipped and prepared for wherever God leads me next. My prayer for myself is that one day I will be able to join the ranks of people like Mrs. Cummings, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Bailey, and pay forward what they all have done for me. I'm going to be the first in my family to go to college, and I am more than excited, and I hope to make my family proud. God has shown me his unfailing love over and over again, and there is no doubt that he will take care of me as I get ready to follow along with him. There are so many opportunities ahead of me that I am ready to take on, and the only question that I am asking myself is, well, why not?